Thank you for tuning in to Connect More, featuring the shared experiences, new adventures, and nightmares of four pals who have known each other for decades. Connect More utilizes the swear jar concept to raise funds for the American Cancer Society. When you hear this during the episode, the offender will contribute to the swear jar. We'll update the swear jar each week at the end of the program. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hey, yo, welcome to another episode of Connect More. I'm Eric. There's John.
How are you?
That's Brian.
Hi, everybody.
And there's Jason.
Here I am.
On this episode of Connect More, John and I review our in-house viewing. Jason and Brian edit slang, and then we whip around on passing. But let's check in with everyone first. Guys, it's early on in 26, so let's set some goals here. What's something you want to learn more about or get better at this year? So late in 25, I kind of started taking those Duolingo Spanish app lessons. So I kind of want to continue doing that. I know on the app I'm doing well knowing the answers. I don't care to think that I'm going to jump into any conversation soon. So that's why I want to keep that rocking in 26. Brian, what's going on with your goals for 26?
So mine is using AI in my job a little bit. So in my office manager support group, others are using this and they're kind of teaching me little things. So when I go to my monthly meeting, they're telling me little things they use to help them in their job. And I'm starting to learn those a little bit now. And I'm trying to integrate those in my job.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, use it for good, not evil, okay?
That's right. Well, it's more like making my job a little easier. Like one of the hard things to do is creating like a pivot table within a spreadsheet. And I know how to do that, but if I can have that do it for me, it'd be much easier than me having to program it, right? I'm used to typing in all the formulas myself. But if I could have ChatGPT do all the formulas for me, I will have them do that.
Giddy up.
So that's what I'm going to do.
All right. Jason, what are you going to get done in 26?
I've got to figure out how to start reading for pleasure more. Like, I don't read a lot just for the fun of it. Yeah. I've just got to figure that out. I got to get that back in my life. I mean, I think about how I got this far, and a lot of it was reading a lot, and I just find myself not doing it as much anymore. I've got to figure that out. I've got a pile of books that I need to read. I want to read, but I'm always either too tired at night or whatever, and I just don't.
Yeah.
And one of the things,
that's a good one.
One of the things that, because and as you guys know, when I was in the Peace Corps, I must have read 300 books. Just because, there's no electricity, there's no nothing, and we had this huge library full of books that previous Peace Corps volunteers had left there. It was like the coolest library I've ever been in my life, filled with the most wonderful reading. So you just have a stack of books, and you went through the whole thing. And one of the series that I read while I was there was the Foundation books by Isaac Asimov. I read them all, like all of them.
Love that TV show. Never read the books.
Are amazing.
I read the first 3 books. They are amazing, and they stand up.
So I've got them again. So I mean, this was almost 30 years ago. I read them. I got them all again, and I'm going to try to read those this year, and at least the first 3, and just get them back in my life.
So I tell you one thing I did when I got back here to the homeland here in the Iowa City corridor area is I took, like I said, Thursdays. Thursday night is my reading night. So, just a little tip to you. If you just pick a night, put it on the schedule. Tonight I read. That's it.
Hey, ChatGPT, how could I fit more reading time into my life? Like, is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yes, do that.
Okay. Yeah.
You, buddy, only for good, not for bad.
Here's the thing. We always have time for the scroll. That's the problem. Is if I could switch out all my scroll time for making progress in the book, I would totally do that. And I'm not getting enough done. I have the stack too.
Is that your goal for 26?
It is not.
Then what is?
So food preparation. And so the reality is you guys do great talking about like recipes and preparation and having opinions about what you grill and all that. I eat like a 12-year-old, and I think I got it going when I was a single dad, and it's especially bad with lunchtimes. It's all heat and eat, microwavable stuff. And I have pretty developed senses about that, about those things I want, but like it's not preparing a meal. And I can usually get a pretty good dinner, but I'm in the office 3 days a week now, and I have no plan like on any given day for what I'm going to do. Seriously, it's like I have this little carrier that I zip up, right? The little lunch carrier, and it'll be like protein bar, string cheese, Dr. Pepper, and some applesauce. Like I'm 8. And so
Going on
I
a
got to
field trip
figure
to the
out.
nature center, John.
That's right. It feels like something that I should have learned that I didn't. I can't really explain why I didn't. I also can't explain why I don't care. But like, it's really interesting watching a lot of you get interested in what you're doing around dishes that you can make, and like challenging yourself and all of that. It isn't just the grill. It's just really having anything. And I have, the embarrassment is I have all of the tools and all of the information and all of the interest at my house. It's not, I'm not, deprived of any of that. So food prep, meal prep, getting into recipes.
So start with mac and cheese. Find a good mac and cheese recipe. Get the book, The Joy of Cooking. It's got everything you ever wanted to make in there at all sorts of levels. That's my tip to you, okay? And hey, buddy, use it for good, not bad. Well, that's what we're looking forward to in 2026. So what did we look back on with fondness?
We grew up on rabbit ears, 3 channels, and the fine art of appointment TV. So diving headfirst into the endless ocean of streaming feels both refreshing and a little overwhelming. Let's break down what's worth the swim and what's just a streaming pile. So having looked at rankings of the best streaming shows of 2025, and so you can pick a category if you want, like comedy or sci-fi or reality, pick a couple episodes, try to watch them, and give us the PUD take. So hope you did your homework. Do you have a recommendation for a must-watch or a streaming pile? We're going to start with Eric.
Yeah, I didn't dive down into any specific episode, but what I was grateful to watch in 2025 are 2 continuing, and then I got a couple that premiered in 25. But look, gang, Slow Horses season 5. Watch that stuff. Somehow the show continues to get better. They usually do something each episode that a lot of shows don't do, which is shocking. And then they didn't do it in the season 5, which was shocking. And but do catch up with Slow Horses, because I saw the season 6 previews, and it kind of looks like to me like they're headed for a series finale in that show. But Slow Horses season 5 is great. Another one that came back this year into season 2 is Twisted Metal on Peacock, based on a video game that, quite frankly, I never played. But this show is just super fun, action packed. Anthony Mackie, this is his best work, I say. I'm not fighting anybody over that, but sit down and watch it and let me know if you think that it's worthy. But it's really good stuff.
Fantastic. What's that one on? Where's that streaming?
It's on Peacock. Yep. And the episodes are, they're like 30 minutes long or something like that. Speaking about another great, funny show, interesting show, and all the episodes, 10 episodes are around 30 minutes each, is on Apple TV as Murderbot. So this is based on a book. It stars Alexander Skarsgård. He does great in this. He's a robot that busts his own system, and he becomes his own independent person with a really dark sense of humor, about really good takes on the human nature and how stupid we are. And it's really good. Unfortunately, it's been renewed for a second season. And then over on HBO, The Pit. I mean, I fought not watching this thing. I mean, I wasn't gonna watch it. It's got Noah Wyle. My joke for a long time was, oh, so he just plays Dr. Carter from ER, but this time in Pittsburgh. But then my son said, you got to watch this. It's really good. And I got to tell you, I mean, he was right. Each episode is an hour in the shift in the ER. The writing and acting is really great. And the way they shoot this ER, I love it. After 3 episodes, you feel like you could personally be dropped into this ER and know where each and every room is. Just the way they shoot this, you're just a part of this. The ER is actually a part of the show. Some honorable mentions: Running Point on Netflix is loosely based on Jeannie Buss when she ran the Lakers, except it's more in a sitcom format. It's actually very funny. Daredevil, Born Again, and then The Residents on Netflix. It's a kind of a funny who done it, and Stick on Apple TV, a show about a golfer.
That is Owen Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that would be fantastic.
It's a pleasant little show, and Mark Maron is in that as well.
Yeah, Maron's really funny. Yep. No, saw him when he was here, and he's just got a great sort of minor key take on almost everything. Fantastic. Jason, what do you got for must watch or streaming pile?
Well, as you all know, I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I feel duty-bound to put Andor on there. Season 2 of Andor was, I thought, really fantastic. Just a slow burn of like how these rebellions take place, and the politics of it, the quiet diplomacy and the quiet behind-the-scenes thing. And like, I think it comes across maybe as a little bit boring, but I really enjoyed the characters. I love the way it all pulled through to the end, and I love the way they took some risks about who lives and dies and how all these things happen. I mean, it's kind of adventurous TV, and it's in a time when I think TV shows are more willing to kill off characters now than they did when we were kids. You know, it was like it made the nightly news when a character in any of the shows we grew up watching would die. Like it was on the cover of magazines and stuff. Now they're killing characters all the time, but it's still, I thought it's so well done, and it's such a great addition to the Star Wars universe. I'd love to add a documentary here as well. Pee-wee as himself is just so good. I mean, especially for people our age who kind of grew up when, you know, Pee Wee Herman was becoming a really big deal. It's such a great documentary, and it's got this sense of a danger almost with it, because you can tell that Pee Wee Herman was Paul Rubens was kind of at odds with the documentarian making it. And he wasn't telling that guy things. And there were things happening behind the scenes during the filming of this documentary that the documentarian didn't know about, and things. I just loved that the tension in that documentary. So well done, and such a great story.
It's 2 documentaries in one. It's Paul Rubens' story, and then the making of the documentary of Paul Rubens' story. It's fascinating.
It's so well done, and I learned a lot and laughed a lot, and just really, and there were some heartfelt moments and very raw emotional parts. Such a great show.
I think I'm the only one who has not seen that documentary, so you guys are really selling me on it. I think Brian
brought it's so good.
In the previous episode.
Oh, you won't regret it. And then in the comedy category, I had Hacks on HBO.
Oh yeah,
with Gene Smart. Is such a damn good show. And then side by side with that, and I know this will be a little controversial because you're not all fans, but Righteous Gemstones. I just love that show. I thought it was just an over the top, campy, crazy, like just adrenaline fueled weirdness. I just loved it.
Definitely on my list. Yep. The characters in that are outstanding.
Oh, yeah, so good.
Danny McBride's amazing. I'll jump in with mine and then we'll let Brian close it out. I've got, obviously, I've talked about The Studio before, so I'll skip over that. Eric hit The Pit, so I'll skip over that one. I'm currently watching Pluribus and very interested in where Vince Gilligan goes with this. This is the Breaking Bad creator who's back, and it's has a lot of creativity behind it. Yes, it's sci-fi, but it's sci-fi that tells us about ourselves. It's exploring a lot of humanity topics, and I've had to stop it a couple of times. The morning show is pretty good this year, and then the year is closing out with Stranger Things, and it's Stranger Things season 5. We're finishing up the story. We're leaving the kids behind. It's set this fifth season is set in 1987, and so that is the key. It's that school year, and so it's the pinnacle moment for people exactly our age, because they are getting at something that was an experience that we had. There are this season I've noticed things that were wrong more than I ever have before, because I think I was just really dialed into that period of time, things that would never have been. But it's perfectly well made. That you can tell they have a much bigger budget for it, and so I'll just plug the sci-fi masterpiece nostalgia trip of Stranger Things, even though it gets Tiffany's "I Think We're Alone Now" stuck in your head over a couple episodes. Brian, what do you got?
I got a few here that have already been mentioned, but I got some other ones also. First one I got is Task. That's on HBO Max. Very good. I mean, it's just a mini series, and it sounds like they might even do some more. It's like 6 to 8 episodes, an hour long each. But you see this from it's like a caper. You see it from a law enforcement standpoint. You see it from the criminal standpoint. Everybody's a very sympathetic character in all this, so you kind of see how all that works out towards the end. So that's very good. My other one is called Dark Winds. That's on FX. That's about living from a law enforcement standpoint on a Indian reservation back in the 70s.
I've not heard of that one, Brian. That sounds fantastic.
So they
said FX.
They just did season 3 this year.
Hey, Tanya loves this show.
Yes.
By the way. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
so you get to see the 70s vintage cars in there. So it's a little bit nostalgic for me. But the acting, the writing's really good in that. It's a different perspective than what we're used to living here in freaking Iowa, right? So, it's just completely different, something you don't see very often. And then the other one I have is, this one's a little different. Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. You can call that one a dark comedy, if you will.
So look, they showed the first 2 episodes of that on, I think the Paramount channel on cable,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And then they switched it completely over to Paramount Plus. And I'm being a big baby. I've got all the other streaming services. I just don't know why I don't plop down for Paramount Plus, but I'm not putting it down for that. And I was enjoying that. The first couple episodes I saw, it was kind of good, like dark comedy, I think, like what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons were really good. The third one's really good too. Just well acted. Well, the characters are really good in that. Once again, different perspective. Tells things from a mob standpoint, and it's a little different. It's different than anything else on TV, I would say. So, and the other ones have already been mentioned. Like I had The Righteous Gemstones, love that. Once again, the characters in there are just killer. So bizarre, just love that. So, those are my picks. Anything else?
We're going to close it up and send it over for the cancellation of some subscriptions.
Do you ever find yourself screaming, "Make it stop," at a new trend, app update, or a slang term? Same. In Unsubscribe, we rant about what's broken, bizarre, or just plain unnecessary, and we officially opt out. So we decided to take a little dip our toe into the world of current pop culture and try to understand what the kids these days are talking about, and try to understand a little bit of the slang terms that you might hear bandied about, especially if you got some younger folks in your lives. And Jocko, I know you work with some younger people, and I've got a few younger people in my office too, and just trying to figure out which of these slang terms I can drop into casual conversations, and they'll all look at me like, nice try, old man. So what do you guys got out there as far as slang terms that you're interested in giving a shot and impressing your younger coworkers or your children perhaps?
So I've been called on the whole 6-7 thing already by the grandchildren.
Good.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Keep up the battle. Keep up the battle, Brian.
Wonderful.
It's one of the only ones that I've actually heard of before. Well, I've got a, my Louis in middle school, Frank's in high school, so it's raging throughout that age group right now. And apparently I learned it's part of what they call brain rot culture. Like, that's a thing. Did you know that?
Yes. That is correct. You got there.
That's one of the words of 2025, if I remember correctly, is brain rot. So,
But I think when they yell that at you, is there a hand motion you're supposed to do? Like, you're supposed to go like this? Like
you're bobbling a ball, yeah.
Pretend you're juggling, kind of?
Yeah, see, look at us. We got it figured out.
Oh, I'm not that hip. I don't know.
Jocko's just shaking his head. He's...
Listen, man. The whole brain rot thing. And by the way, the number one word was rage bait. And brain rot was in the top 3. You're right about that, Brian.
Yep.
But the whole thing about 6-7 is what they're celebrating is that it doesn't have an intrinsic meaning, right? Like, we know this word, you don't, and watch us use it, and it can shift on you. That's not as funny as you think it is, right? And it's not as cool as you think it is. Slang is about giving a new name to an experience you're having in the world. Slang is to claim something, right? It's not to try and, obfuscate. And so that one drives me crazy.
But that's the brain rot angle, though. Like, that's the point.
Yep.
Is it's not supposed to be clever or have any subtle undertone meaning or inside joke. It's just supposed to be literally brain rot.
These damn kids.
So was Pud on this list 40, 45 years ago? Ask him for a friend.
As far as you know.
Need to bring it back, man.
So one that we never call it this, that was on this list was called the phantom tax, not to be confused with phantom tax. And so that's playfully stealing fries or chips or other bits of food off someone else's plate. I would call that the kid tax or the service tax if it's your wife, right? So you're taking food to somebody, and it's like, oh, don't mind if I do.
Well, see, what got me on that one is it's named after a YouTuber. So anything that's in that category is automatically not on my list. Like not anything that relates to this culture of people who make a living posting utter bullshit on YouTube, I'm done with that. I'm not using phantom tax just for that reason alone.
Well, there goes our YouTube monetization, who we've been working on for like a year. So YouTube, if you're listening, we apologize sincerely, and we would like to please be placed back on your platform with Mr. Beast.
What do you guys think about the Ohio thing? It's another absurdity to describe something weird, strange, or cringy.
Well, that was a new one to me. I'd never heard that. Well,
I never heard
any of these before.
I had neither. My honest response was, I'm glad we escaped that one.
But I've
heard the Ohio one a little bit, not a lot. Yeah.
I always, when something really strange happens in the United States, I can narrow it down to 3 states, right? Texas, Florida, Ohio, right? In that order.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
That's right. That's right. Ohio. You're welcome.
Okay, there was actually a word on that list that I thought was kind of cool, and that was when you falsely praise someone, such as, you've put out words about them that everybody knows you don't believe, but you're doing it because the context in social media or wherever else requires that you do it. And that's called glazing somebody, and I think I'm going to keep that one. That's fantastic. When you're saying something about somebody and everybody knows full well you don't think that about that person, that's glazing.
I've done plenty of glazing over the years.
Correct, sir.
Well, the one I saw that I thought I could probably pull that off was chopped on that list. Like chopped as in calling someone ugly. Like, oh, that dude is chopped. Like, I could see myself dropping that into conversation and maybe getting away with it. I don't
With
know.
who? Frank?
Well, no, he
Louis?
called bullshit on that immediately.
Yeah.
But like in my office or something, like you're having casual conversation, like, oh my God, that guy is chopped. I don't know. I thought
Please
maybe I
do
could
that.
pull that off.
Please do that and report back.
Yeah.
So we're feeding the curmudgeon is all we're doing here. Like it's out of its kennel and running.
No, but I mean, what if I could pull that off? Isn't that just going to be like if I could drop that into casual conversation at work with some of my younger colleagues and pull off that chopped? I don't know. I think that could be quite the accomplishment.
Epic. We want
There's
that
nothing
report back.
curmudgeonly about that. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf here.
Well, you're using your curmudgeon background to say somebody's chopped.
True.
Yeah.
I
So
love
I think there's a natural mix here that I think could actually work for you.
All right.
It's incredibly hip.
Are you glazing me? Wait a minute.
You are so hip. When I think about a guy who's really got it going on, thinking about Jax, baby.
Shit. You're just mogging now.
Wow.
Oh.
Is that right?
I think it's
don't
more
know.
like she us. I think it has to be 2 syllables, and you know that.
You so zesty. Sorry.
No.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm about slanged out. I think it's time for a little whip around.
No doubt someone wondering where we are by now. So before we get called back to reality, let's stick and move with some quick takes, fast laughs, and then we're out. It's time for a good old-fashioned whip around.
Whip around.
Whip around.
All right. Name someone who passed away in 2025 whose contribution you will miss. Can be famous or personal. I'm going to start with Jackson.
It was interesting. I kind of went through, as we probably all did, a list of all the famous folks who had passed away this year, and there were some pretty big names on there. I will say, I think the one that stood out to me as for the cultural contributions has got to be Robert Redford. I mean, that guy was just such a huge luminary in his field, and when you look back at his filmography and all the films he's done over the years and how many classics they are, and just what a presence he was, even in kind of semi-retirement, with all of the Sundance and all of his environmental issues that he championed, he's going to be missed. Love that guy.
Yep, agreed. All right, Jocko.
Yeah, I didn't really pick someone or any. I took the moment, I guess. These memoriams just remind me that, we just all just need to do better to connect more with each other and spend that time, because these memoriams always remind us that we do this at the end of every year, and it's just a reminder to me to make the time that we have quality time. Make the time for that beer, that round of golf, and it could be cold outside. The weather you might have dishes to do, but when that invite comes in, take it and go with it. When Jason invites me next week up to watch Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, I got to say yes, even though I watched it 3 weeks ago, but but seriously, these things just remind me to take that time and do it. And that's what we talk about here. So that's my contribution to this conversation.
All right, I would agree with that. How about John?
Yeah, it's hard because one of the things about knowing you guys so long is that we do end up in a lot of the same places. And I would have said Robert Redford, and I would have talked about Butch Cassidy. I would have talked about, the Swim, Hell, the Fall will Kill You as being something that I've used dozens and dozens of times professionally and at different points in my life. I probably said it to you guys while I was trying to talk you into one thing or another. So definitely would be right there with Jason for an all-day Robert Redford movie fest. but I'm gonna choose then as mine Brian Wilson, who I think when you start with the list of greatest American rock and roll bands, you get to the Beach Boys pretty quickly, and we've done this on the show before too, and we should actually really blow it out and do a whole segment on this sometime. But
when Eric's on vacation.
When Eric's on vacation, that's right. But
when Yoko's sitting in for me, you guys go Beach Boys batshit crazy, okay?
Look, nobody can deny he was a genius. He was also probably on the spectrum before there was a definition of that. And I think he found his way back also from some really dark stuff that came out of his professional and personal life, and then ended up being pretty productive. The fact that we end up having that smile thing even finished, it doesn't matter what you think about it. It's the fact that this guy wrestled with various masterpieces and completed almost everything that he intended to, and actually performed it in ways that was effective. It's a short list of people who had a more indelible impact on American pop culture over their lifetime than Brian Wilson.
Oh, that's a good answer. So mine's a little personal. So for my person, 2025 is my sister Debbie. She passed away back in September. And she affected a lot of people. I didn't know this. You don't think about it. You just kind of take people for granted. And I probably did with her. But she did a lot of volunteering, whether it be through Girl Scouts when her kids were still in school, or she worked for the Girl Scouts too when the kids were done. But then she also volunteered at my mother's home, done many things over the years. So after she passed, there were over 1,000 people went out of their way and posted comments at the funeral home's website. 1,000. Wow. 1,000. I wish I would ever get something like that. So you don't think about that. So she affected a lot of people, and the world's definitely not a better place without her. So everybody's going to really miss her. She was also a cancer survivor, and she was living proof that you can survive cancer. It's not the death sentence like it used to be 20, 30, 40 years ago. She did that. That happened almost 10 years ago. And she got out of that, but so I miss my sister a lot, and we all will miss her. Actually, the world is worse off without her. So we'll put it that way.
Yeah, cheers to that. It definitely showed at her funeral the what you described, everything she did. There was people there from all of those facets that came to her service. And by the way, that's huge, because I unfortunately go to a lot of funeral services, and not a lot of people go to those anymore. And those people were there and represented, and so that really did show the importance she made in a lot of people's lives.
It was a beautiful tribute to your sister, and losing a sibling is something permanent. It changes the way your family feels and is made, and is going to go forward. And it's not replaceable. And but you talked about her volunteerism, and it was front and center at her service. And she didn't just give money to stuff or go answer a phone. Like, she was directly involved with these individuals who were served in the community. And it reminded me that the best kind of service is when you're, it's person to person, and when you're changing somebody's life in an individual way and engaging with them to do that. And that takes a big heart to do that. And your family is salt of the earth people who have that earnestness about them. And that's something that's being lost. It's being rolled back very quickly, and you have to fight for it in this world.
Yep. Agreed. So I appreciate the comments. All right, boys, we're officially whipped. The swear jar to benefit American Cancer Society is now up to $82. Closing credits, please, nice lady.
Thank you for listening to Connect More. I'm the producer. Please subscribe and like this podcast, because it's my only chance of getting paid for this gig. Connect More is a product of Pan Tiger LLC and is hosted by Brian Danielson, Eric Van Lanker, Jason Nisus, and John Hedgecoth. Connect More is edited by me and Jocko. The showrunners are Jax, Hedge, and Weenus. Theme music written and recorded by Ryan Veeder. Cover art designed by Leon Golden. Musical director is Evil. Legal liaison is Brian. Lead writers are John and Eric. Runner-up writers are Jason and Captain Danielson. Publication coordinator is Jax. Special thanks to GVC, Aaron, Miss Roper, and Yoko. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to follow Connect More on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.